is Jordan Kane, and I'm going to be giving a presentation on the psychological elements within the film The Stoning of Soraya M. First, a brief summary. Ali, husband to Soraya, wanted to marry another woman, but did not want the financial drain of a divorce. As with American culture, Soraya would be financially compensated for divorcing Ali. After a lot of persuasion and intimidation, Ali had the entire village convinced that Soraya had an affair. But we'll get into the specifics of that in a few slides. A falsified trial was held in which Soraya was convicted of adultery. Multiple witnesses in the trial were lying, which will be discussed later as well. Soon after the trial had taken place, Soraya was stoned to death by her friends, her own family, and her neighbors. The whole village had gathered, buried Soraya waist deep in dirt, and then stoned her to death. Quite tragic, actually. Now we will discuss each element and each one, and how each one appeared in the film, First element is what I like to call the Milgram effect. The name comes from Stanley Milgram, an American psychologist that conducted research on how readily an individual would take orders from another individual in a position of authority. The mayor held the highest position of authority in the village. Much like the governor of a state here in the United States, the mayor holds the highest authority of a certain region. The village's mullah held a lot of authority, being a man of God. Similar to a priest or pastor, the mullah was very looked up to. Ali held very little authority in the village, but intimidated his way to the top. The only authority Ali held was that he was a prison guard outside of the village. The next element is the Ash effect, where an individual is persuaded or conformed due to a group having the majority. Ali threatened the mullah to help him get rid of Soraya without a divorce. Ali saw Soraya as an unfit wife and did not want her to be paid for divorcing. The two of them conformed the mayor, as well as a witness, into believing that Soraya had committed a crime. That crime being adultery. The whole village was soon convinced Soraya had slept with her employer being the witness just mentioned. Next is the Zimbardo effect, named after Philip Zimbardo, who conducted an experiment to see how people would react after being given a position of authority they usually do not have, also known as fake power. Ali had no real power within the borders of the village. Being a prison guard outside of the village, he held little authority inside the village. Zara held no real power in the village either. Even though Zara was older and most likely lived in this village her whole life, women do not have a say in many things. The last element that we'll be talking about is the Lucifer effect, where a seemingly normal good person can do something evil. The mayor was a good man, but he was conformed into doing an evil thing. The mayor wanted to do right by his citizens, but ultimately aided in Soraya's death. The mullah seemed like an honest man before Ali had corrupted him. Even though he had been in prison, the mullah was a good, holy man before Ali came along. As a conclusion, here are the interventions I feel could have prevented Soraya's death. The mullah could have declined Ali's evil idea and stayed the honest man he was. But the mullah was frightened by Ali and felt he had no other choice. The mayor could have taken the multiple signs from God to stop the stoning. As the mayor prayed for, multiple signs appeared, but he ignored all of them. Although untraditional, the women could have been listened to more readily. Although in the Middle Eastern culture, as I previously said, women do not have a say in much. Thank you for watching my presentation.